Between how good the MacBook Air is these days and how much more affordable it is, I think a lot of us started to write off the MacBook Pro, and I think Apple noticed. That would explain why the MacBook Pro M4 is the most impressive laptop I've personally tested and reviewed this year, to the point I'm considering buying one myself. But that doesn't mean it's right for everyone, so let's talk about the reasons to buy and skip. One of the biggest things that stands out if you check out Apple's press release is the promise of up to 24 hours of battery life for the MacBook Pro M4. That's based on streaming video though, but whenever we test a laptop, we run our proprietary web surfing battery test. To set the stakes, the MacBook Pro M3 lasted just shy of 17.5 hours. Clocking in at over 18.5 hours, a full hour more, the MacBook Pro M4 is one of the longest lasting laptops we've ever reviewed. Leave a guess in the comments which Windows machine you think has this MacBook beat. The idea of a glare-free laptop is far from new, but for the first time for a MacBook, Apple has created such an option using what it calls Nano-Texture glass. We posted a TikTok showing off the difference between the MacBook Pro M4 with the Nano-Texture display and an older MacBook without it, and the benefit is pretty obvious. I don't think it'd be exaggerating to call it a revelation. It truly does an amazing job minimizing glare and reflections, and this is coming from someone who spends a lot of time working in my backyard and on the bus. Pair that with over 1500 nits of HDR brightness tested, and even out in sunlight, the MacBook Pro M4 display looks awesome. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of gripes out there about the fact that the nano-textured configuration is an added $150, but no doubt to me, it's $150 that'll be well spent. Now let's get into probably the biggest reason to buy the MacBook Pro, performance. This machine gets the newest gen M4 silicon and is based on a 3nm process, promising the fastest CPU core and better multi-threaded performance than the M3. I linked to my score review in the description that includes our Geekbench and Handbrake results compared to similar laptops if you want to see the benchmarks. But I'll tell you that the M4 blows a lot of the competition away. Anecdotally, I've been running 4 to 5 apps, actually more, editing photos, streaming, just really trying to stress the machine, and it still runs smoothly. The 16 gigs of unified memory that's now standard and the 1TB SSD in this unit definitely help, although I'll talk about the drawbacks with the SSD in a little bit. It's also worth noting that Apple Intelligence is also powered by the M4. We have a video coming out soon about the Apple Intelligence features to try on your MacBook Pro. I've been running the beta of macOS 15.2, which includes ChatGPT support, but you also get the features we've been talking about, like the improved Siri with the option to type to Siri, writing tools, and photo features like cleanup. Image Playground is also pretty fun to play around with. Again, stay tuned for our video on Apple Intelligence for a full overview of how to get it and how it works. There are a couple of minor but still valuable upgrades with the MacBook Pro M4 worth mentioning. It now features a 12-megapixel center stage camera, up from 1080p on the MacBook Pro M3. I noticed a huge difference in image quality when I took some selfies using the Photo Booth app, but the more obvious for most people will be video calls. Center stage support means that you'll be kept centered in the frame even as you move around during video calls, which can come in handy when given presentations. This is a feature that's been available on iPad for a bit, but that doesn't mean I'm any less glad to see it on the Mac. Then we finally get support for dual external displays. I say finally because this is one of those things that is definitely long overdue and has been on my wish list for a while as a MacBook Pro user. A machine this powerful should have no trouble hooking up to 2 displays simultaneously while also having the laptop open, so you can have 3 displays in one. It helps that the base model now has 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, compared to 2 last time. Although if you want more bandwidth with Thunderbolt 5, you'll need to step up to an M4 Pro model. I'm not even sure I can handle this much multitasking at once. What do you think about the MacBook Pro M4 so far? Let me know in the comments if you agree with me on these points or not. Do you think it's sounding a little overhyped? In that case, you'll want to stick around for my reasons to skip. Let's get right into it. A reason I'd skip the MacBook Pro M4 goes back to some of the benchmark tests I mentioned earlier. One negative surprise in our performance testing was the SSD speed. On the Blackmagic disk speed test, the new MacBook Pro was slightly slower than the previous gen M3 model, which is strange. Its read and write speeds were also behind the top Windows systems. So if you tend to transfer or save really large files, you might not be very happy. If you've watched some of Tony's previous MacBook videos, you know our channel has mixed feelings on whether MacBooks are any good for gaming. But from my personal experience, while the MacBook Pro can run big titles, the performance and speed just isn't what you'd get compared to a dedicated gaming laptop. On the M4, Borderlands 3 ran at only 23 frames per second, which is playable. On the plus side, I did have a blast playing Resident Evil 4. The graphics look awesome, but if I were getting this MacBook Pro for gaming, I'd step up to the M4 Pro or Max chip for more GPU cores. What the heck? I'm not good at this. As someone who's been living with an aging MacBook Pro M1, the M4 MacBook Pro is an ideal upgrade for me. It's notably faster, and you'll be able to take advantage of all of the new Apple Intelligence features. I especially like the Nano-Texture display for a glare-free experience and the extra long battery life. Still, I wish the SSD were faster, and for this kind of money, I don't think you should have to pay even more for a beefier GPU to get silky smooth frame rates on the latest games. Overall, I give the MacBook Pro M4 4.5 out of 5 stars, and it's an editor's choice pick. But do you think it's upgrade worthy? Let us know in the comments. And if there's anything else you'd like us to go deeper on, let us know. Stay tuned for our Mac Apple Intelligence Features video, and be sure to follow us across all of our social channels at Tom's Guide to keep up to date on the latest Apple news and reviews. For Tom's Guide, this is Mark Spoonhour. I was guessing the next words towards the end. That's okay.